Welcome back to the Batman 80th Anniversary Batstravaganza. We finally made it to a point where I was actually alive, and this is the review of 1989's Batman. Batman was directed by Tim Burton, and it starred Michael Keaton, as well as Jack Nicholson and Kim Basinger, or however you pronounce it. This was a very sharp turn from the last time Batman premiered on the big screen. Last time it was Adam West and Burt Ward camping it up, and now we are going dark, we're going gloomy, we're going gritty, we're going pretty much where Tim Burton always goes. The story starts off like this. Batman is an urban legend. He is not known to the police. He is a mythological creature as far as Gothamites are concerned. But the criminals of Gotham are all saying there's some guy dressed up as a bat and he is taking us out. The cops are denying it, and nobody knows exactly what to make of this myth, so to speak. Well, this is where we start talking about Jack Napier, who has been this gangster who has been working in Gotham City for decades. There was something that he has to go clean up, and an accident happens at Axis Chemicals, and he falls into a vat of some sort of corrosive liquid. We could say it's acid or whatever. He comes out as the villainous Joker, and now the Joker is taking apart the criminal underworld piece by piece, as well as Gotham bit by bit. And it's up to the Batman to stop him by any means necessary, and this movie was great. And I have to make an admission. For the longest time, I have not been that big of a fan of this movie. I've always viewed this movie as somewhat incomplete and a little bit misguided. And the reason why is because this movie focuses more on the antagonist than it does the protagonist. Even though we see Batman first and foremost, there is a high level of attention spent on Jack and the Joker. And there's a reason why. They are compelling. It's absolutely great what kind of job that Jack Nicholson does on screen. And here's the thing, Michael Keaton doesn't do a bad job as Bruce Wayne or Batman, but in this particular movie, it doesn't really, the way that the Joker does. It's difficult to put into words how well Jack Nicholson portrays his character. And that is something that I always felt was wrong to say, here's a Batman movie that we're not going to be putting all the emphasis on Batman. But I said that this was a way that I used to feel. Do they still put a whole lot of emphasis on the Joker? Oh yeah, a lot of it's on the Joker. But the tone of this movie is so much different than the Batman movies before, and different in a spectacular way. From the way that Gotham City feels like a city, and it felt like a city in the previous one, but that city was happy and joyful. This is Gotham City. This is for real. Like, this is don't walk down an alley or else you're gonna get killed. And speaking of which, this is the first time that we've seen an on-screen portrayal of Bruce Wayne's parents getting killed. Thomas and Martha Wayne going down Crime Alley and biting the big one. We finally see it on the big screen. We actually thought we were going to see it at the very beginning of the movie, but that was like a psych out. That was more for an introduction for Batman and not an origin story, which I liked because watching this again as an adult, it totally psyched me out. I want to talk about some other characters besides Batman and the Joker, which I technically haven't really talked about Batman yet. I'll save him for the end. So first off, there is Alfred that I want to talk about. Very dry-witted, very loyal. I love this version of Alfred. I don't know if I would say he's my favorite version of Alfred, but I actually prefer this version to some versions that happened later on down the line. And in fact, we've seen this version of Alfred more than we've seen any version, and I love that. Let's talk about Vicky Vale for a second. She actually is a photographer like she was in the Batman and Robin from 1949 movie. But in this instance, she also works for a magazine, and she's working with a local reporter about the myth of Batman. Everybody thinks that it's a hoax, but she believes that there's a truth to what he's been saying. And I really like her character, but I don't believe the romance. I feel like it is rushed. I feel like it isn't earned. But I did believe how she worked together with Knox. I liked that kind of partnership that she had. That was more believable than the romance with Bruce Wayne. And I said I was going to talk about Batman last, so here it is. This Batman is really good in comparison to the other ones, but in this movie, it doesn't quite, it's just like there's something missing. And I think that's why they put more emphasis on the Joker in this movie, because the Joker had that thing. He had that it factor. And I feel like, whereas Michael Keaton does have it, he didn't show it as much in this movie. Do I love Michael Keaton as Batman? Very close. I think that it was a very good portrayal. I think that his Bruce Wayne in this version left a little bit something to desire, but it wasn't bad. There just wasn't that, I don't know, that je ne sais quoi. But overall, this movie is fantastic. As much as I used to dislike this movie, going back and watching it again, there was something that I missed when I watched it when I was younger. Maybe I was comparing it to different iterations that I had seen more recent, and I just couldn't appreciate it for what it was. It came out 30 years ago, and yes, there have been other Batman movies, some better Batman movies that have come out since then, but there's not a lot. And in all honesty, this movie is fantastic. And Joker, Jack Nicholson's Joker, you can talk about Heath Ledger being amazing, and that's not saying he's not. But Jack may have deserved an Oscar for this as well. So that's my retrospective of Batman from 1989. Tell me what you guys thought about it in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Share this with your friends, and as always, this is Cameron with ZB Reviews. We'll see you next time.